Welcome to sunny side of San Diego.
It's the greatest city in the history of mankind. It's a fact.
Two local San Diegans that look at obstacles as an opportunity for growth.
If you don't fail, you're not even trying.
Michael Carini is the Acrylic Alchemist.
You can call me CEO
of Carini Arts. And Vicente, Vinnie, Enriquez.
No one could do it better.
The team lead of the Enriquez group.
Ride with us.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the sunny side of San Diego with Vinnie and Carini. My name is Vinnie.
Hey, Carini.
There we go, man. I think you got to talk a little bit closer to the mic. I don't know if it's just me or maybe. Oh, you know what it is? No, I had you a little bit lower. I think we're good now. You want to say something?
Is it working? We're here?
Yeah, there we go. There we go. So this one's it's titled San Diego, simply San Diego. We kind of want to talk about rainy days, and being in San Diego, we don't get that many rainy days. Yeah, we're not talking about basically the rain from the sky, but those days where you're just like, oh gosh, just one of those days, nothing go right, or you don't want to get the day going, and you're just trying to find some way to kind of get through it. That's kind of what we want to kind of jump on. So what would you do, or what do you do in those kind of days, Michael?
I've been feeling those a lot lately. We are so lucky, I think, being here literally metaphorically, to have a lot of sunny days, a lot of bright days. But the thing to be aware of is that there's always going to be rainy days ahead. It's not a negative way of thinking. It's just being aware that there are going to be days that are not quite as bright, not quite as good. And here in San Diego, we had a little bit of a mild shower the other day, but we really haven't had any rain in a little while for the most part. But the weather does forecast for rain next week. So we it's nice sometimes when you know that it's coming, but we don't always know when it is coming in our lives. And for me, I've been feeling a bit of the burnout. I've been feeling tired, and it has been hard lately because on those rainy days, everything feels achy, everything hurts. It's hard to get going. And again, not just in a literal sense, but in a metaphorical sense as well. And so when there are rainy days, part of me wants to be almost overly productive, to overcompensate for that variation, for that change. And this time, though, I'm feeling like I just don't have it in me to do that. I'm feeling too overstressed, overtaxed mentally and physically. So I'm trying to figure that out myself right now. I'm kind of right there in the middle of that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think for those tough days, it's kind of almost, once you get past, I think, the idea of just getting up and doing some kind of activity, like this morning, again, I mean, we've talked about it. On most days, I'll wake up between like 4 and 4:30. Today, I just was like, oh my gosh, I just want to sleep in. I want to sleep in a little bit. And so I end up going back to sleep, woke up at 5:30, and then did a Peloton ride for like a half an hour. All right. But so I kind of gave myself a little bit of something, but then I knew I had to get up so I could be somewhat productive and kind of get my day going for the rest of the day. So it was kind of just like almost like a little bit of a negotiation with my body and with myself. And I'm happy I did now that I'm just like, okay, well, I did a 30-minute ride. I got to the office, was able to do stuff before we got onto the recording here. And it makes me feel like the rest of the day I'm going to be more productive. Like, I mean, but I've had those other times too, where it's like, I don't want to do anything. Right. And those, I mean, I really kick myself on days like that because like I've done it before where maybe I'll get a burrito. Right. And this has been a while ago. This was like probably more of my early 20s and things like that. But you just don't want to do anything. You're like, I'm just going to veg out. And next thing you know, you're like watching movies, eating a burrito, not doing anything. And then the end of the day, you're just like, oh my gosh, I just gave up my whole day. 24 hours of my life is gone. Was that really worth it?
I definitely do the negotiating thing myself. And what happens is I'll often tell myself, okay, you don't need to do something today. You are going to take a day off. And then throughout the day, I start to feel guilty about it. So then I end up not only doing one thing, but trying to do maybe two things, like to double up. And so I think, well, maybe if you're feeling tired, you just need to condition yourself to holding more stress, to being able to manage more. And I'll end up getting hurt. I'll end up getting injured, something of that nature. And that's how I've been feeling lately. I've been feeling like I'm just mildly hurt or injured, but on the precipice of doing further damage. So I've been thinking lately that maybe I need one of those days where I just veg out and just sit at home and allow my mind to recover. But every time I say I'm going to do that, I end up getting up every 5 minutes and doing something because I feel that itch. So I get up, I post something on social media. I go create some new media content. I go work on a painting. I go sign something. I go photograph something. And so I'm at a point right now where I'm struggling to be able to just allow that rainy day, allow myself to sit back and just enjoy the rain and to breathe and to take it in. But there is something that can be very therapeutic about rainy days, about smelling the rain, about just soaking it in, going for a walk in the rain, going for a run in the rain. But again, for a run in the rain, every time I talk about sitting back and just enjoying it, then I talk about getting fully immersed in it and diving into it. So it's been a real struggle for me this past year. And I think it's because of the lack of consistency with everything going on in the world. It's very hard to have that comfortable level of sustainability. So there's always this thought in my mind, you need to be overly prepared. You need to be prepared for anything. And so it doesn't allow my mind to rest. And that's kind of where I think that I am right now.
So I'm never going to be able to talk to unless time travel or something like that happened, I'm never going to talk to my younger self. Right. Yet one day my future self is going to look back on what I'm doing today. Right now, that future self, there's a variety of different future selves, right? If you believe in, quantum theory and things like that, every action we do is a new person, right? So I always look at, okay, what would my future self tell me about the action I'm doing today? What would myself from tomorrow say about today? What would the one from a year from now, 5 years from now, say about today? Are they thinking back, man, I wish you would have went to the gym a little bit more. I wish you would have went for that run. I wish you would have read that book. I wish you would have, spent time with your family. Whatever it might be. So I always look at what's that person telling and wishing or hoping that I would do in this moment. And so, let's say I'm doing a little mini vacation, right, with family or something like that. I go, well, what did I take away from that day, that one day? If I'm happy with the idea that I'm going to spend time with my nieces or nephews or my family, and I go, that's going to be a precious moment, a moment I can take away from it, well, then it's worth it. If the tough ones for me to really say that my future self is going to be happy about it, if I don't do anything for the whole day, if I'm just laying on the couch, watching TV, just eating all day, because what did I really take away from that day? Maybe if I got a really good workout in, then I can tell myself, you know what, that day you got a really good workout in, you can take off the rest of the day. So that's how I always look at it whenever I'm looking at, all right, should I soak in this rainy day or do I want to push past it?
I've been having those conversations a lot lately myself. And it's like I have this awareness that I'm going to feel like I didn't take enough time to enjoy life or to do the things that I really wanted to do, that I was maybe a little too focused on always going by the routine, by always working out, by perhaps just giving a little bit too much time and attention to that. And maybe that I could actually have more success in that area if I allowed the time for recovery and time to breathe. But the struggle that I've been having is when you have those moments of insecurity, whether it be financial or physical or whatever it may be. For example, lately I just haven't been feeling physically my best self. And so when I'm feeling that way, maybe my body needs to recover. But what my mind is telling me is, no, you need to work harder. You need to do more. But by not allowing that recovery, by not allowing that time to breathe, by not allowing for that exhalation, it could be the thing that is preventing me from what I actually want. So it's funny, you can sometimes think that giving more attention to something is the thing that will help it, when maybe sometimes you just need to step back and watch the rain for a little while, to allow other things into your life, to take time to maybe take a look at the messages that you may be missing. And perhaps I have over-focused myself in some areas over the course of the past year and lost focus of other things. And I'm starting to have this awareness that that very much may be the case, but now I have to find a way to reset that and to account for that as I reset things for myself.
Well, there's this idea, and I mean, it was a philosophy class I took a long time ago, but it was the idea that there's like a lake of mortality, I guess, right? You dip yourself in that lake, and to know you're going to die. But if you stay there too long, you're basically going to have morbid thoughts, and you're not going to want to do anything because you're going to live in the moment. You're going to live for the now, not live for the future. So you have to understand that if you were to die today, would you be happy with what you did, what you accomplished? If you died tomorrow, would you be happy with what you accomplished? Yet you have to have that balancing act of living for the future, but living for the now. And so allowing yourself to have those pleasures, allowing yourself to have those things. I mean, I had a friend that we were really close, and he lived for the now in everything he did. He never really planned for anything in the future. He always lived for the now, and it ended up getting him in trouble, and for me, I was always living for the future. And so having him around allowed me to kind of push myself into living for the now. So I think having that balancing act of living for the now and living for the future, I mean, is the way of progressing, the way of living, and the way of enjoying life.
That's an interesting thought, and I definitely am someone that is focused on the future. And I do happen to have somebody in my life right now that focuses on the now, and it actually creates this little bit of a battle, because I'm always thinking about and saying, well, we need to think about the future. We need to think about this. We need to think about that. And she's just go with the flow. This is happening. I'm happy right now, so everything is good. And sometimes I'm jealous of that, because it should just be relaxed and to be happy in the moment. And I'm trying to, but when you have that mindset of always focusing on the future, always focusing on what could happen, and I know why I am that way, but I have definitely become more that way as I've gotten older. And in line with what you're saying about mortality, it's true, is that here we are, and I look back and at past years, the last 5 years, last 10 years, and that's time you don't get back. And I think that pressure of the fact that, hey, you've lost that time, so every day you essentially have less and less time. And so what are you going to do with that time? And I think it puts this pressure on me to want to get things done, to accomplish things, to be productive. But at the same time, when I'm older and I look back, I already know I'm going to say, you weren't spending enough time enjoying life. You weren't taking enough time to breathe, to enjoy the rain, to soak it all in, to enjoy the simple beauties around you. So I talk a lot about those things, but I still struggle greatly with getting to a point that I can work with that and make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, if all right, so let's say hypothetically, right, someone just moved to San Diego, or is planning to move to San Diego, all right, and they're having a rainy day, all right, what would you do or advise in a rainy day with basically all that San Diego has to offer?
I would advise to go out for a walk, to go out for a run, to soak that in through Balboa Park. And so as I say that, though, here I am. We just had this talk about enjoying life and not pushing ourselves. And the internal dialogue that I'm having on a secondary level right now at the same time that we're talking is, well, what are we going to do today? Are we going to do what we're saying right now and relax? Or are we going to go for a run? Or are we going to go to the gym? And I'm thinking, well, technically, if it's not raining today, but it might rain another day, you should go to the gym, because the gym's going to close down on the rainy days, because gyms are only outside right now. So that's the other thing, is that we do have interesting circumstances right now in the world that we're living in. So there's a lot of stuff that's closed. So with so much being closed on a rainy day, things that I might like to do, like I like to go to the zoo on rainy days, but the zoo is closed right now. If it was open, I think that would be fun to do, because I was thinking yesterday about how much I missed going to the zoo over the course of the past year, because I used to go every week, and during the summer I would go every single day. And I haven't been in such a long time, so I was thinking, geez, I really miss going to visit the animals, because some of the animals I knew by name, and I'd go visit them in their enclosures, say hi to them. Hey, it's a zoo. It's a lot. It's a nonprofit. It's about recovery, so I support animals being free. But Many of the animals that are in captivity at the zoo are there because they were injured or for preservation purposes. So if that's the circumstances and the situation, I want to go visit them, give them the best day possible. And I miss that. I miss going to see the animals.
All right. Well, I mean, for me, and I haven't done this for a while, but if I had a rainy day and I was just going to be in San Diego for a short window, right, I would go play some basketball, go work out. So I'm like, now I'm just burnt out. My muscles are just like gel, right? And then I go to any birdos, right? You got Albertos, Filibertos, Robertos, any of the birdos in San Diego. Get a carne asada burrito, chow that down, and now I really can care about basically all the grease that's going to come out of that burrito because I just did a really good workout in the morning. Then probably go to the beach. Have some coffee or something like that. Kind of relax at the beach. People watch for a little bit. And then after that, I guess it would just be see where things would take me. Maybe meet some random people in Ocean Beach at one of the bars and play pool. Mind you, not in this time with everything closed down, but when things are open. I mean, the people in Ocean Beach are just so friendly, especially if I didn't know anybody in San Diego. That's what I was looking to accomplish. I mean, people at basketball, people at the bars, especially playing pool. I would meet a lot of people. So I think activities like that, it would make me appreciate it. And I know when I was lucky enough to travel a lot more in the past, going to bars, going to places where I could actually interact with other people and just have conversations, it allowed me to appreciate where I was going through and what I was going through. So that's what I would do.
I think Ocean Beach is a good choice. It's a good place to be pretty much anytime. It definitely has a very unique, eclectic feel, but I grew up in that area, so I love that. And I can definitely relate to your idea of the burrito, too. I've been doing that a lot lately, is after my workouts, I've been like, well, you worked out, so you can kind of do what you want. And it's funny, my diet's really been slipping over the course of the past year. And so one of the reasons I might be feeling the way that I'm feeling lately is maybe because of poor diet. So maybe I got to get my diet in check. Maybe that's one of the reasons that's causing my rainy days. So we'll see about that. But the other thing that I think of that would be so fun on rainy days in San Diego would be Balboa Park, not only because of the beauty of walking through, and yes, the zoo's there too, but all the museums. I think the museums are still closed right now, but when the museums weren't closed, if you're a resident of San Diego, there are free museum Tuesdays. So it rotates which museums you can go to, but every Tuesday there were different museums you can go to. And that was something that I really used to enjoy doing after I had left my job and my schedule was my own. Was, hey, there's a lot of stuff that you can do for free that's fun and educational and enjoyable for the family or by yourself. And so I miss that. I miss the zoo. I miss my free museum Tuesdays. I miss doing those things in Balboa Park.
So if you're listening right now, what would you do on a rainy day, be it if you're in San Diego or anywhere else? On a rainy day, maybe if it actually physically rainy day or more emotionally rainy day, what would you do on a rainy day? We'd love to hear your feedback. Please subscribe, please share, and of course, tell your friends. Thanks, everyone.